Welcome to the 2018 State of Digital Marketing, presented by SilverTech. Today we're sharing the results of our industry-wide State of Digital Marketing survey. I'm your host, Ian Hughes, Content Strategist here at SilverTech, and I'm joined by our Principal Strategist, Samantha Maltais. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Ian.
Here's what to expect today. Our presentation will last about 40 minutes. Sam and I will be walking through the findings of the survey, and we'll take slight detours along the way to discuss the foundations of digital marketing that will be critical to any organization's success in 2018. We'll also hear from SilverTech's Chief Digital Officer, Jeff McPherson, and share some insights from our partners, and also discuss several emerging trends. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's get started. First, just a quick reminder of who we are. We're SilverTech, a digital marketing agency and technology company. We've been in the digital space since 1996. We have more than 75 crew members engaged in more than 80 active projects across a variety of industries.
Our goal is to redefine how organizations understand their audience and the entire customer journey. And we do so with intuitive design, seamless sharing of data across the main technology platforms, your content management system, marketing automation platform, and CRM.
Here's a look at the agenda. First, we're going to give an overview of the report and share some of the key findings. We'll then take a look at what our respondents identified as their challenges and top priorities for 2018. We'll then dive into the digital marketing foundations of effective marketing teams before wrapping things up with a look at 4 emerging trends in 2018. Let's dive then into the report overview and take a look at some of the key findings.
We surveyed 150 marketing leaders, including 34 directors of marketing, 15 marketing managers, 11 chief marketing officers, and 11 digital marketing managers from 122 unique companies headquartered in 30 different states.
Marketing teams both large, and for the purposes of our report and survey, that's 10 or more team members, and small, less than 10 team members, from B2B, B2C, and B2B2C companies were surveyed. Teams responsible for all marketing efforts, that's traditional and digital, primarily traditional marketing efforts, your TV, print, radio, and events, primarily digital marketing efforts, social media, PPC, SEO, and even IT, information technology, were also surveyed.
Respondents shared what marketing-related activities their teams are responsible for and what activities they contract with partners or agencies to execute. Here you can see that many of our respondents take full ownership of marketing automation and CRM management, but turn to partners for pay-per-click, PPC, or website optimization.
Sam, it's interesting that our respondents do turn to partners for PPC and even website optimization. Thoughts there and why that might be?
I think a little bit of that. So budget and time constraints are always the primary reasons that people look outside of their marketing teams. And PPC is very time consuming. Website optimization requires a lot of staying up to date on trends. So it makes sense that both of those things would actually come out as something that people would partner with in 2018.
Yes, 2 very specialized areas.
Yes.
Our 2018 State of Digital Marketing Report finds organizations continuing to place primacy on the overall customer experience, and a consensus emerges on the need to better understand every touch point of the customer journey. The most effective marketing teams are guiding their organizations to this understanding with a strong digital marketing foundation of personas and customer journey and content strategies.
Further, effective marketing teams are bridging the gap between strategy and technology with roadmaps that plan for upgrades and integrations while ensuring a seamless sharing of data between their content management system, CMS, marketing automation platform, MA, and customer relationship management, or CRM platforms. Let's take a look at some other key findings from our industry-wide survey.
Small marketing teams are adopting the strategy practices of their larger peers and competitors. Though large marketing teams still utilize personas and customer journey strategies at a higher rate, the adoption gap has narrowed since our 2016 survey.
Which is interesting. Marketing teams that rate their website presence as effective are 2.8 times more likely to have redesigned their website or upgraded their content management system within the last year. They are also 1.7 times more likely to actively use marketing automation and 1.9 times more likely to actively use a CRM platform.
Marketing teams that rate their inbound marketing as effective are 1.7 times more likely to utilize a marketing automation platform than marketing teams that rate their inbound marketing as ineffective.
Marketing teams that rate their social media marketing as effective are 1.6 times more likely to utilize personas and 1.8 times more likely to have adopted a customer journey strategy than marketing teams that rate their social media marketing as ineffective.
Interesting. Let's take a look now at the resources, challenges, and top priorities our respondents identified in 2018.
In last year's State of Digital Marketing report, we introduced the concept of strategy cornerstones and technology pillars. In the strategy cornerstones, we included personas, customer journey strategies, and technology roadmaps. This year, we add content strategies. In the technology pillars, we included content management systems, or CMS, marketing automation, MA, and customer relationship management, CRM, and emphasize that the integration of all three platforms is key to communicating the right messages at the right time to prospects, partners, and customers at the appropriate stages of their journey. Effective marketing teams, we found, had a higher rate of adoption of the strategy cornerstones and were more active users of the technology pillars, which makes sense. This year, that story carries even more resonance and, as you will see, the data has become even more conclusive.
As we head into 2018, marketing teams are prioritizing personalization and one-to-one messaging, mobile optimization, and social media effectiveness at a higher rate than they did last year. But they face the arrival of new content delivery channels such as virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, and the emergence of new customer experience touchpoints powered by artificial intelligence. Today we speak to our clients less about individual cornerstones and pillars, but rather about one strong digital marketing and technology foundation that delivers a full 360-degree view of the customer journey.
Our lead to loyal strategy. A documented content strategy or personas are no longer nice to haves, nor is it feasible to grow a business with a website that operates independently of your CRM or MA platform. The digital solutions that will help organizations increase brand awareness, customer satisfaction, and lead generation in 2018 are those that are built by digital strategists, designers, and developers upon a fully realized digital marketing and technology foundation. It's certainly not a one-size-fits-all solution, but as you will see throughout this report, effective marketing teams of all sizes, resources, and capabilities in industries as varied as high-tech, financial services, health, and healthcare are working from a strong foundation of comprehensive digital strategy and integrated technology.
Here we can see what respondents from large marketing teams and smaller teams identified as a major challenge for 2018.
Perhaps because of investments into new technology or personalization initiatives, large marketing teams are 1.9 times more likely than small marketing teams to identify budget constraints as a major challenge.
Here we can see that 54% of large marketing teams are increasing their website budgets in 2018, despite going through a recent website redesign. More than a third of small marketing teams have not redesigned their website within the past 2 years.
This is going to become an issue, especially in we're looking towards 2018, and guidance around the American with Disabilities Act, or ADA compliance, is due in 2018, although that may get pushed out a little bit later now. Organizations with dated website presence will need to review their accessibility features, including, at a minimum, transcripts for video content, consistent navigation features, and the ability to resize text up to 200%. And we have an on-demand webinar topic for this available on our website, and you can download our ADA website compliance checklist in the handout section of today's webinar.
Large marketing teams are 1.6 times more likely than small marketing teams to identify personalization and one-to-one messaging as a priority for their organization in 2018. Perhaps as a means to connect with their audience on a one-to-one basis without the resources of large marketing teams, small teams are 1.3 times more likely to identify social media effectiveness as a 2018 priority.
A CMS, MA platform, and CRM are central to strong digital marketing and technology foundation. We've talked a lot about this. And SilverTech envisions a seamless customer experience when these three essential platforms are integrated and actively used by sales, marketing, and customer service teams.
Sam, how important is this integration? What's the impact on the organization? And on the other end, what is the customer experience when they're all working together?
Integrated data is essential. It is essential to have a one singular view of customer activity, period. It seems like it may be a no-brainer for many of the folks here, but I've worked with so many organizations that have customer-facing systems that don't talk to each other, or they have to pull a manual report periodically and do a data sync in order to figure everything out. And not only can that be frustrating, but it takes up valuable time and resources to make that happen. So when you have a completely integrated digital landscape between your website, marketing systems, and CRM, that's where you can start to truly achieve personalized marketing results and kick your efforts to the next level with less work. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute.
Large marketing teams are 2.2 times more likely to actively use marketing automation than small marketing teams, with small marketing teams opting for more specialized but limited email marketing platforms. Let's break from the results for a moment to take a closer look at one of the foundational marketing systems, marketing automation.
Our partners at HubSpot, in their State of Inbound 2017, identified that the top 3 marketing priorities over the next 12 months will be converting contacts to leads or customers, growing website traffic, and increasing revenue derived from existing customers. These priorities make it clear that marketing is now measured against its ability to contribute to the business's bottom line. Yet without the right tools proving ROI on each marketing initiative, this can remain a difficult task.
That's why marketing automation is no longer a nice to have. Quite simply, it's table stakes for modern marketers. It's the latest and greatest way to enhance and control the customer experience. It's not a passing trend. It's an actionable and useful tool that when implemented and executed properly, it can make measurable impacts to your bottom line. Sam, you're a big fan of marketing automation. Can you share any MA success stories you may have?
Yeah, so I have quite a few MA success stories, and they all have the same thing in common when I started to look at them, and it's that you're able to do things more efficiently. Marketing automation, when set up correctly, is personalized, and everything that a potential customer does on your site or within your marketing material means something. I've seen clients deploy very simple calls to actions with an email workflow and a thank you, so just a 3-step process that made serious impacts to their bottom line while decreasing their overall marketing spend. We actually just had a client reach out to us with some of their year-end trends that they were seeing and positive messages overall for their marketing department and contributing to that bottom line. So from their email, as we near the end of 2017, looking at monthly averages, we've had 24.5% increase in interactions, 59.6% increase in conversions, a 30% increase in conversion rate overall, and wait for it, a negative 5.75% decrease in cost per click. So
Excellent.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for.
And Marketo says just as much here. Marketing automation helps scale marketing initiatives, deliver more personalized and targeted communications, align with sales, and measure which channels and programs are the most effective. Further, and more importantly, marketing automation helps you demonstrate and improve ROI for each initiative across every channel. We dive a bit deeper into this topic in a white paper, Making the Most of Marketing Automation, which is available for download at silvertech.com. Now let's return to the report findings and see if we can get a sense of what makes effective marketing teams tick.
More so even than last year's State of Digital Marketing survey, we found that effective marketing teams utilize personas, customer journey strategies, and technology roadmaps at a higher rate than those that rated their performance as ineffective. Effective marketing teams also actively use the core marketing technologies at a higher rate, as we mentioned earlier.
In this next section of the report, we've highlighted teams with effective website presences, inbound marketing practices, email marketing, search engine optimization, SEO, digital advertising, and social media marketing. I think it became clear by the conclusion that large or small, effective marketing teams are those with a strong, viable digital marketing and technology foundation.
Throughout this section, we will also spotlight some additional digital marketing foundations, and we'll conclude with a look ahead to some emerging trends in 2018. When you consider that the data that will be created by micro moments and artificial intelligence, and how the customer experience will evolve with the arrival of virtual reality and augmented reality on more of a global scale, there will be little doubt left that every organization needs a strong foundation of comprehensive digital strategy and integrated technology in 2018.
Respondents were asked to rate the effectiveness of their website presence toward meeting their business goals. Those that rated their performance as effective were 1.8 times more likely to utilize personas.
Respondents were asked to rate their effectiveness of their email marketing towards meeting their overall business goals. And those that rated their performance as effective were 1.5 times more likely to utilize personas.
And if we take a look at the pie chart on the right, those teams that rate their performances ineffective, I think it's important to note that a large percentage of those may not currently utilize personas, but recognize that it is a priority for 2018. We have 37% who said that they are going to put that in place this year. On that note, let's talk a bit about personas. It's an essential foundation for effective digital marketing.
Personas are the foundation of personalized one-to-one communication. They are fictitious representations of your audiences, who they are, what they like, and most importantly, what they don't like. By identifying your persona's ideal online experience, your business can create targeted content, navigate an ever-shifting digital landscape, and surpass marketing goals.
As Joe Paluzzi, founder of the Content Marketing Institute, puts it, it's incredibly difficult to monetize an audience of everybody. Trying to do so only reduces the potential impact of your content and makes it more difficult for your business to achieve its marketing goals. I think the creation of well-thought-out personas will help you identify your problems you're hoping to solve for your customers. Sam, any other insights on the value of personas that you'd like to share?
Personas allow you to put yourself in the mindset of the customer, which is very helpful. So they're useful for all aspects of your business, not just marketing. How you package your services, what decor looks like in your lobby, even planning for 2020, all of these things can be answered when you create and adhere to your personas. They are really a complete business tool. So it makes sense that if you are having issues selling the value of your marketing internally, this is a good thing to focus on.
As you said there, Sam, a complete business tool. How important is it to roll out your personas to the entire organization? Too often, I think marketing teams keep them within their department and don't share.
It's really interesting to be part of persona rollouts to organizations because I think these are normally done in a large group setting. So once they've been approved through the typical stakeholders, so you're talking about your board and your leadership team and your marketing team, rolling them out to the full company actually kind of opens eyes for some people. What we think of when we are marketing is that we're actually speaking to people like ourselves. And in most cases, who we are marketing to is not at all like that. So I've been part of a couple different persona rollouts where it's been interesting to see people's faces as some of these personas come up. And actually, for one in particular, we put pictures of the CEOs of some of the companies that we were talking to, and everyone's eyes in the room kind of, they got really wide. They're like, oh, I can't, that's not who we thought that we were speaking to. So it's really interesting when you do this and roll these all out and say, this is what these people are interested in. It really does start to affect everyone's decisions and how people talk from a customer service level all the way up through the CEO.
Interesting. Back to the results. Respondents were asked to rate the effectiveness of their digital advertising toward meeting their business goals. Those that rated their performance as effective were 1.7 times more likely to utilize a customer journey strategy than those that rated their performance as ineffective.
Respondents were asked to rate the effectiveness of their social media marketing towards meeting their business goals. Those that rated their performance as effective were 1.8 times more likely to utilize a customer journey strategy than those that rated their performance as ineffective.
Let's then take a look at another critical digital marketing foundation, customer journey strategy and mapping.
Knowing the customer journey enables you to map your customer's journey to create appropriate click paths, provide strategy and workflow for both internal and external audiences, and develop interactive prototypes for iterative user testing and validation online, all to create a seamless experience to the end user. A customer journey strategy is critical to creating an optimized user experience, or UX, one that removes barriers and heightens usability.
Though it may go by different names, customer, user, buyer's journey, the goal is really the same. It's to better understand the myriad interactions your potential customers and current customers have with your brand. Sam, why do you think it's important beyond this to have a customer journey map?
So building from personas, you know that what your customers like and don't like. And when you map out the ideal and non-ideal experiences, you have a greater chance of success because you've already anticipated. You're not being reactionary, you're being proactive, which is exactly what every marketing team should be trying to achieve, because only when you're proactive can you truly delight and surprise your customers outside of really good customer service. One of the greatest benefits of a customer journey strategy is a content gap analysis as well, of all the maps that you create, we recommend that digital marketers start first and foremost with their website. And by mapping the ideal experience for each of your personas online, you'll gain info into what they're looking on in other areas, not just your website.
Sure. From there, then you can identify if you're meeting their needs. Do you have the right white papers, blog posts, FAQs for each of your personas? So a customer journey map is an invaluable tool for content planning. We have a customer journey map template over on SilverTech.com. And now that brings us to another foundation of effective digital marketing, content strategy. Content is one of the most effective tools for attracting, nurturing, and converting new customers. Again, you're building upon this foundation of persona development, customer journey mapping. A content marketing strategy will help you attract the new customers, answer the questions, and align your efforts to the needs of the organization. Sam, I'm sure many of our listeners today understand a content strategy is important. Perhaps the better question is, why do you need to document your content marketing strategy?
Because it can't just live in your head.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's really hard. And it takes time, especially if you're a smaller marketing team. It may make sense to keep it in your head because what is worth the time? Your time can be better spent elsewhere in some cases than actually writing down if you're the only person who's going to follow it, right? But for those that do have a documented content marketing strategy, according to the latest research from the Content Marketing Institute, those that have one are far less challenged with every aspect of content marketing, more likely to consider themselves effective with every tactic and social media channel, and able to justify a higher percentage of the marketing budget to be spent on content marketing. And I think the biggest reason for that is that when you write stuff down, it actually helps you identify where you're going to do content reuse, planning that content, the timing, and looking at other things outside of your content channels, so events and other things that are going on in your particular organization, and that's what makes you the most effective.
Excellent, yes. Let's return to these survey findings.
Respondents were asked to rate the effectiveness of their inbound marketing toward meeting their business goals. Those that rated their performance as effective were 2.2 times more likely to utilize a technology roadmap than those that rated their performance as ineffective.
Respondents were asked to rate the effectiveness of their search engine optimization, SEO, toward meeting their business goals. And those that rated their performance as effective were 1.9 times more likely to utilize a technology roadmap than those that rated their performance as ineffective. I recently spoke with our Chief Digital Officer, Jeff McPherson, on the advantages a roadmap can give your organization. Let's take a moment to hear his thoughts. How integral will a roadmap be to an organization's success in 2018?
I think it's extremely, because again, it goes back to what are the initiatives of that organization. So when you start getting into where the web is going and you get into personalization and multiple systems across the board, the biggest mistake organizations can make is to kind of boil the ocean overnight.
Yep.
And I think what the roadmap allows us to do is to create a very systematical approach to how we want to kind of roll things out appropriately. And at what stages in that roadmap are we creating, whether it's efficiencies, cost savings, or improvements to the overall experience. And I think without a true roadmap, and I think there's other pieces that tie on to that roadmap. The first that comes to mind, when you create a long-term roadmap of, let's say, 3 years, to really go through, what I would deem a digital transformation process. The other big piece is what's the governance that sits on top of that, and who are the various people that really play a role along the way? Because I think without, if you have a roadmap but you don't have a true governance in terms of who's involved and who's going to have say in all of this, that roadmap is going to die out very, very quickly.
Sure. Yep.
So you want to run both in tandem, and you want to really keep both in check, because roadmaps change and people within the organization change, and I think both these items kind of keep progression happening. Without it, progression stops, and then you basically start getting into this cycle of quick fixes, short-term fixes, a lack of long-term thought, and that's where organizations start to trip over themselves. And so I think from our perspective, anytime we're working with any type of organization that's looking to do a long-term kind of rebuild or digital transformation, it's one of the first things we want to tackle.
Excellent. We've spoken now at length about the foundations of successful digital marketing, as CMS, MA, and CRM, working together, and personas, customer journey maps, and content strategies, powering the right message to the right person at the right time. Now, as we draw to a close, I'd like to turn our attention to 4 emerging trends in 2018, We'll only briefly touch on each of them here, but there are additional resources at silvertech.com if you'd like to dive deeper. The first emerging trend to be aware of in 2018 is micro-moments. 2 years ago, Google introduced the micro-moment, a new mobile-first concept of consumer behavior. In the past year, as US adults spent more than 3 hours a day consuming digital media on their mobile devices, the concept became even more relevant. So what is a micro-moment?
Micro moments are moments of intent, purchase moments, research moments, and discovery moments that happen on a mobile device. During the early days of smartphone usage and adoption, it was common for consumers to complete purchases on their desktop computers. The frustrations of having to pinch and zoom to read product descriptions and the difficulties of managing a shopping cart on a mobile device were not worth the hassle, and that's simply not the case now.
I recently spoke with Timothy Williamson, sales engineer at Progress, the company behind many mission-critical business applications, including the Sitefinity web content management platform and the Sitefinity Digital Experience Cloud. I asked him about a variety of topics, including micro-moments, accelerated mobile pages, AMP, and mobile-first indexing. You can listen to our full conversation on the SilverTech blog, but I wanted to share a moment where I asked him if he believed micro-moments were going to increase or decrease. Here's what he had to say.
I don't see the raw volume increasing so much over the next 2 years, not like we've seen in the past. I mean, the shift has pretty much happened, right?
Yes, yeah.
But now our awareness to those moments and the results of what that awareness kind of allows us to achieve, definitely. And that's, going to increase, and that's where the real opportunity is. So, mobile devices, those are only one of the places that these micro moments are even happening. They're also happening on the desktop, in email, on social media, and still in many cases in store. So really, a unified kind of cross-channel strategy is going to pay off here.
From Google Think, here's the key micro-moments takeaway. We're heading toward an age of assistance where, for marketers, friction will mean failure, and mass messages will increasingly mean move on. For more micro-moments, be sure to check out our on-demand webinar. The next emerging trend that I'd like to touch upon is VR and AR.
Virtual reality, or VR, is defined as the computer-generated simulation of a three-dimensional image or environment that can be interacted with in a seemingly real or physical way by a person using special electronic equipment, such as a helmet with a screen inside or gloves fitted with sensors. In contrast, augmented reality, or AR, is a technology that superimposes a computer-generated image on a user's view of the real world, thus providing a composite view.
Of the two experiences, really, virtual reality is the more immersive. However, augmented reality may offer the most immediate benefit to marketers. One of our biggest advocates for VR is Jeff McPherson. He's got SilverTech's VR team working on a couple of exciting projects. Let's hear from him one last time on what possibilities he sees for VR. And while he shares his thoughts, we'll play back examples of VR in use by Tom's, New York Times, and Lowe's, and examples of AR in use from CoverGirl and IKEA. So let's talk about VR.
Sure.
We have a team here at SilverTech who've been running some experiments in VR, a lot of exciting stuff happening. 71% of consumers view brands that use VR and AR, and that's virtual reality and augmented reality, as forward-thinking. Can you share your thoughts on how marketers can incorporate VR and AR into their marketing plans and benefit from this point of view?
I absolutely could, and I could spend an hour on every industry here. As you know, I'm a very big fan of VR. And AR, and I think the reason why I'm a fan is I think we as humans want different ways to engage. We want to absorb content differently. We're always looking for a cooler way, a more exciting way, a better way to be part of an experience. And I think that what VR and AR is starting to do is to go beyond games and go beyond the cool factor and get really deep into the important factor of how we absorb information and content. And I'll give you an example. When you think of universities and higher education, and you think about how things are done today, things are done in the sense of, your counselor starts to recommend colleges, or you start to talk to your counselor, you get view books and guidebooks, and you start to kind of figure out where you want to go. You do some research online, and there's a breaking point. There's a point where you have to make a decision as a prospective student. Where do I go visit? And where does mom and dad have to drag me around this country?
Right.
And if I'm in New Hampshire and I want to go to UCLA, we're not talking about inexpensive trips here. But what if UCLA or a Drexel University had a full-blown VR experience of their campus at various events and various seasons throughout the year. Something that you can't do in a college visit. It's impossible. But I want to experience, downtown Philadelphia in the winter, in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. VR can do that. And VR can not only do that, but it can actually take my interests and tailor those interests all the way through. So if I'm a comp sci major, if I'm a chemistry major, engineering major, whatever my path might be, I can have a custom tailored experience, and all that I really need, or all that school needs, is a pair of goggles. And by the way, you don't have to spend $500, $600 on goggles. We've seen Google and we've seen nonprofit organizations ship out cardboard fold-outs that you slide your phone into. So there's a few things that are happening. I think cost of entry is becoming lower. But the long-term availability of that content is actually very sustainable, and to invest in the recording, invest in all the production work that goes into it. If I can reach thousands of students, prospective students, through a VR experience, I've definitely gotten my money's worth.
Yep.
And so I think that's what's really critical about where VR is going in healthcare. VR is a great training mechanism. It's a great way to show docs and surgeons. It's a great way to show patients what's going to happen and give them a real taste of what that particular procedure is supposed to do, or that particular medical device is supposed to work, and then really see kind of a virtual experience.
Our next emerging trend is artificial intelligence. Ray Kurzweil, Google's director of engineering, predicts that by 2029, AI will achieve human levels of intelligence. And by 2045, humans will experience singularity, the point at which we multiply our effective intelligence a billionfold by merging with the intelligence we have created.
Before we feel like we've drifted into the realm of sci-fi, consider this. Our partners at HubSpot surveyed 1,400 consumers globally and found that 63% already use AI tools without realizing it, and 74% have used voice search in the last month. And according to Gartner, by 2020, 20% of companies will dedicate workers to monitor and guide neutral networks.
AI is here, it's real, and it has practical marketing applications, among many others, across every industry conceivable. Sam, can you think of any specific use cases of AI in marketing?
There are several already that folks may not even realize are in existence. So content creation is one, definitely, pulling from different search terms and inquiries to be able to pull content together in a meaningful way. Ad buying is another, and then ultimately lead scoring, and that's something that I use on a day-to-day basis in terms of how I can help customers better qualify their customers. So it's been really interesting to see how AI has kind of snuck in, especially when you're talking about chatbots, which I know we're going to talk about in a second.
From Tony Bradley at Forbes, here's our key takeaway on AI. Machine learning and artificial intelligence have phenomenal potential to simplify, accelerate, and improve many aspects of our lives. The last emerging trend that we'll touch upon today is one of the simplest applications of artificial intelligence, and one that I think many on the webinar today could successfully deploy to some degree in 2018: chatbots.
Increasingly, whether it's on Facebook Messenger, Slack, Kik, or WhatsApp, which combined have a user base of more than 1 billion, we are interacting with chatbots. Bots are performing a variety of tasks for us, from weather updates to traffic alerts, and even holding full conversations. The possibilities are really endless. Facebook and many other tech giants, including our partners at HubSpot, are betting big that within a year or two, bots will be responsible for many of our customer service interactions and actually change how we're going to buy online.
According to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, people-to-people conversations, people-to-digital assistants, people-to-bots, that's the world you're going to see in the years to come. In fact, Gartner predicts that by 2020, the average person will have more conversations with bots than with their spouse.
Which sounds crazy.
And on this slide, you're seeing a chatbot in action. When Facebook opened its messenger platform to developers in 2016, this example from 1-800-Flowers was the flagship chatbot.
The possibilities are quite exciting and affordable. Chatbots can be used to turn your physical locations into beacons of engagement. For example, financial institutions could develop a teller bot at the ATM that allows customers to ask questions that go beyond the ATM's current capabilities, such as loan and deposit rates. A hospital could develop a check-in bot that allows you to chat about wait times, pre-screening questions, and health tips. And a university could develop a campus bot that helps students and prospects get around, finding out dining hall wait times and other useful campus info. The possibilities are truly limited by your imagination.
That now draws us to a close of our 2018 State of Digital Marketing webinar. I think the key takeaway from the survey and the report is that 2018 is the year to make sure the foundation is in place. We all need to be utilizing personas, content strategies, customer journey maps, and technology roadmaps. And on the other side, the technology side of digital marketing, our CMS, MA, and CRM need to be all rowing in the same direction. The emerging trends that we discussed aren't going to wait for us to embrace digital transformation. They have arrived, and so too have customers' expectations. Sam, do you have any final thoughts or advice that you'd like to share with those on the line?
Yeah, so we've talked about a lot of things today between marketing pillars and technology implementations. And some of these things take quite a bit of time and budget to see through to completion, depending on the complexity of your business and all of your different resources, which we understand. The only thing I would leave you with is to simply do something. So go back to basics if you have to, but try to do one thing that will improve the quality of your marketing. Implement one of these things. As long as you're consistent and moving forward, the results will come, but you have to do something.
And that concludes today's webinar. The 2018 State of Digital Marketing Report is available for download at silvertech.com. On behalf of SilverTech, I'm Ian.
And I'm Sam.
And we both like to say thank you so much for joining us today.